Yo, what's up guys? Hope you're doing good. In this video I actually want to explain like this today. I was thinking about like what content should I make. I was not inspired by anything, so what I did was actually what I'm gonna do today is because like the other video of the yesterday performed very well, and a lot of people wanted to know how to actually do the steps in order to come there, right? By the way, I have my new hoodie on, like it's my jacket. It's perfect, guys. Come on, you need to stay warm in order to perform well in the winter, right? So buy yourself some good clothes and make sure your temperature is high, right? Because that's the only way to perform well as an entrepreneur in the winter. That on the side. So what I'm going to talk about today is the structure, these steps that you actually need to take in order to perform well through this process, right? So what I was talking about yesterday is how to actually do outreach and how to make sure that you keep that attention, right? How you build an audience. In this structure, I'm actually going to explain. I just build it out like it's insane, right? This is actually the actual steps that you need to do in order to perform within that structure, right? So what we're going to do is the first thing that you need to figure out is your offer, right? So make a high ticket offer, do the discovery phase, the validation, testing, whenever it's done, whenever it worked, scale it, right? Makes sense? So in order to make sure that you're able to like scale it, you need to create awareness and attention. And you can create awareness and attention in two different ways, right? You can do outreach or you can leverage sales assets to build an audience that you want, right? You have two different options. One option is to do outreach and one option is to whatever, build real, like make reels, make YouTube content like organic, right? But there's another way. And that is the structure, that is the way that I was talking about yesterday. You have organic growth, right? So you have leveraging sales assets to build an audience that you own because you're the owner of your YouTube, Facebook group, and Instagram, right? So there's organic growth, right? Whenever you make a YouTube video, it will get a lot of organic growth. We're actually been optimizing my YouTube videos with AI, right? I have someone working for me that is specialized in AI, so the reach that we get probably on this video as well is going to be insane. We get like 2K views on every single video over the last like couple days. So there are two ways in order for you to actually, whenever you're going to leverage a sales asset, whenever you're going to put out content, it can grow organically or practically, right? So organic, everyone knows what organic means, but practically I'm going to explain it in a bit, right? So in order to create attention, you can do the organic part, but you cannot only rely on that, right? And especially not within this space we're building, like within the agency and coaching space. So you're going to build an outbound campaign, right? And within that outbound campaign, what you're actually going to do is 300 outreaches a day, right? You're going to assign an outreach channel. So based on your niche, you need to make sure that you assign the right channel. Could be LinkedIn, could be Facebook, could be Instagram. Twitter as well, but I would recommend LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, right? Then you have two options, right? You can hire 2 to 3 virtual assistants, or you can hire 30 plus people and keep 2 to 3 who perform the best, right? So this structure is actually there for you to get to 20K within 40 to 30 days, right? Because this structure is going to perform very fast, right? Whenever you do this, you're able to get to 30K within 14 to 30 days, right? So that is the reason why we're hiring 2 to 3 virtual assistants or hire 30 people plus, right? Because we don't have time. We want to get to 30K in 14 to 30 days, right? So you need to make the right decisions in order to get that amount of revenue very fast, right? Because there's a time slot, right? Why do you want to be rich within a year? Why do you want to be making 30K in a year? Tell me, if you have the option to be making 30K in a month, right? Why? The only thing is that the only difference from the people that make 30K in a month and 30K in a year is the decisions they make. That's the only thing. So make the right decisions, right? We're going to do it in volume, right? 300 a day, because if you're going to do 50 a day, how do you think you're going to get to 30K, right? Within 14 to 30 days. So your best bet will be hiring 2 to 3 virtual assistants because you probably don't have an audience you can only perform this whenever you have an audience, right? So hire 30 plus people, like random people, keep the, explain them, train them. Same with the VAs, train them. And then do a test phase of 1 week And after that week, 2 to 3 people will stick, who did the work consistent, who were able to hit the KPIs. Same with the virtual assistants, right? So the payment structure that you need to follow within this 14 to 30 week day process, is this, right? You can give them $300 a month times 3, because you have 3 VAs. That would mean you have to pay them $900, right? If you're afraid to pay people money, how would you ever be able to scale? Because you know that you need money in order to scale, right? If you're afraid to give up a piece of the pie, I don't care if you already have sold an offer. I don't care if you have sold 5. I don't care if you have sold 10. I know you can spend $900, right? If you only want people okay, let me explain it this way. What most people do is they only want people to perform on commission based, right? So if you're afraid to give up a piece of the pie, that means that whenever you only want that structure, you're probably not confident that you're able to teach the VAs the right structure in order for them to perform, right? Because what is the reason they get commission based? Because like commission based, they will probably make more money than only paying them $900 a month, right? So you need to pay them $900 a month if they perform well. If you're able to manage and train them the right way, they'll hit you 30K in 30 days. Easy. Seriously. So that means that you just made a 30x return on investment, right? Another option could be commission based. That would be 50 to 75 per qualified appointment, or 4% per close, right? But in order for them to perform well, this could be like the test phase, right? That means 4% per close. After the test phase, switch to base salary and plus commission. That would mean $500 a month, or whatever, 300, 250, and then that's base pay, and then they get like $50 for every qualified appointment that they book, right? So in terms of the growth specialist, so whenever you have an audience, right? Whenever you have an audience, and you could probably get 30 plus people working for you. You need to optimize a lot of profiles, right? But that's very easy, to be honest. But what you need to do is you need to make sure that you grow specialists, right? So there are people that are willing to work, right? Make sure that you make a VSL, because you're not going to hop on a call with all those 30 people. So make a evergreen VSL. What you're going to say is like, okay, these are my requirements. This is the thing that you need to do. You get training from me, you get whatever, right? Tell them what you need from them, right? 30 people apply, give them 100 to 105 per qualified appointment, or a 5 to 8% commission, right? Within the first structure, so that means within the test phase. And after that, you're able to give them 1,000 base salary plus like 100 per qualified appointment, or maybe just a 10% commission, right? But the beauty about this process is after 7 days, you will be able to see how many people stick, how many people booked qualified appointments, how many people you have 30, and probably of those 30 people, you will probably have like 2 to 4 like rockstar appointment setters, right? Who really performed very well, and you just fire the other people because they were not able to perform, right? Of course, you need to manage them and train them the right way in order for them to perform, right? So what I want you to do after that is whenever you decide one of those structures, multiple optimized social profile, social profiles. So you need to optimize a lot of profiles to make sure that they can use them, right? You can just buy them. It's very easy. Leverage qualified or paid audiences, because we're not going to do a cold outreach. Buy access to someone else's audience. Let your VAs or growth specialists understand where to find a pool of qualified leads, right? Could be through Spotify, and your best bet would be YouTube. So within this range, they're actually out. This is all outside of your world, right? So when everything that is in this green stuff is within your world. So what I'm gonna, this is actually the stuff that I explained yesterday, but this is actually more of a dive within the whole structure, right? So whenever you're gonna do outreach, they enter your world, right? And to be honest, whenever you have a conversation, that means that whenever you're able to get their attention, that means you're in your world, right? If that makes sense. Whenever you're able to get someone else's attention, they're in your world. And that's the only way to enter this space is by organic growth or practical growth, right? So that means this is practical growth because you do outreach. You let your VAs or appointment setters do outreach, so you're able to get a lot of attention. The other way is organic growth, but like people that only rely on organic growth are stupid. So you're gonna do outreach. You're gonna have a lot of conversations. You're gonna book calls, probably. You're gonna maybe close someone. What are you gonna do with all the people that you were not able to close? What are you gonna do with all the people that were not showing up? What are you gonna do with all the people that ghost you within a conversation? Are you gonna put them in the trash? Are you gonna open the door for them to go to the trash? Or are you sending all those people back to this stuff, right? Back to like, are you gonna leverage sales assets? So are you gonna send them your YouTube? Like this is exactly the thing that I explained yesterday. So they're able to enroll back into your world. Make sense? Because everything within, like the reason why I call it your world is because whenever they are in your world, you have the influence. You can decide whatever they're gonna do, right? The only difference is the influence, right? Within your world, you are the boss. You are the one that decides what's going to happen. Make sense? And it's not closed because they can decide to get out every single time. They can decide to unfollow you. They can decide to unsubscribe, whatever. And they can decide to leave your Facebook group, right? But that is practical growth. So instead of putting those people in the trash, send them a sales asset. Practical growth. Send them to your YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. That is a sales asset, right? And that means that they're entering your world again. Does that make sense? So your content, what your content needs to do in order for them to get on another conversation is your content needs to provide so much value that people just want to throw you money, right? What I've discovered, and that's probably one of my most valuable skills that I've ever created over the last couple months, is I've created such an amount of value that nobody is able to do. Like to be honest, I don't know a lot of people that provide value in the way I do, right? And the reason why I know that is because the messages I get in terms of like the data that I get from every single person that is reaching out to me, whenever I get on a sales call, are they going to ask about the whole structure, the whole offer? No, they just want to throw me money because that means that they consume a certain amount of my content. They observe a certain amount of my, like how do you say that, attitude in a certain way. So they just want to throw you money because they know that I'm going to change their lives in any different situation. Right? So this is the most important thing, right? Your content needs to change the entire perspective, belief of the prospect. The only way to change the belief of the prospect is if you're becoming an authority, right? Because then you're going to listen to someone. The only way to become an authority within the space is to give people value, because then they're going to listen to you, right? So make sure you provide value. That means whenever you provide value, whenever other people see that you have a solution for their problem, you're becoming an authority. Whenever you're an authority, you can change beliefs, right? And you can change the entire perspective of a prospect, right? So the other thing that you need to do when they're in your world, educate people on the informs the prospect on how to get rid of the inefficiencies within their business, right? This is exactly the thing that I explained yesterday. Communicate it in a way so that you are the one that has the solution for their problem. It's not about your offer. It's about how you communicate that value to the market, right? Because people don't care about your offer. They only will people will only experience your offer when they're in it, when they bought access to it. Make sense? You could tell them anything, but they won't know, right? So that means that you need to make sure, in order to enroll people, you need to make sure to get to understand how to communicate the value to the market. And the only way to communicate the value, your value to the market, is by becoming an authority. And the only way to make sure that you're able to become an authority, that people listen to you, is by providing them a lot of value. Make sense? So what you're going to do after that is when people consume a lot of your content, you're going to nurture the audience and get them to engage, right? So if you have like two options: CDA, call to action on your Instagram, whatever, on your YouTube, could be anything, or an outreach message. And what do you think what happens next? You're going to have another conversation. It all started here and it ends here. Makes sense? So you're going to have another conversation. You're going to have another call. You have another potential close, and the closing rate will be much higher right now because they went through this whole process, right? It's not like an outreach message only. They consumed a lot of your sales assets, right? So the closing rate will be much higher. Maybe you don't close them. Send them back. Repeat the process. Practical growth. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook group. Provide more value. Nurture your audience. Maybe a half year later, you do a CDA, a call to action. You say like, I don't know, this is my offer, whatever, you know, and they say, I'm interested now, right? Another conversation, another booked call, another close. So the most important thing to understand is there is just no way for them to get out of your world, right? Because you will always send them back within your, like in your world. You will always keep this door open so they're able to enter, right? So you're able to provide them more value. So that makes sense? And of course, some people, you will put some people in the trash, right? Of course. But like whenever you're able to create this process repeatedly, like whenever you do this on repeat, let your growth specialists, your setters do this on repeat, you're going to be a millionaire. Because it's impossible to not become a millionaire through this process. I want every single, I think on, I don't know how many followers on Instagram I have, maybe 1K right now. You know, I want every single person to buy from me, right? Could be 1 year, could be 2 weeks, could be 2 years, could be 6 years, whatever, I don't care, right? But the only way for me to figure out is if they're gonna buy from me is because like, it's not about if they don't have the money. It's about I'm not important enough yet for them to spend the money on me. Makes sense? Because everyone has money, right? Everyone has the money to invest. That's stupid. Whenever people say I don't have the money to invest, that means that your solution is not, they don't see that you have the solution for their problem. It's not big enough. Makes sense? Because like everyone has the money. Like what Alex Ramosi said, whenever you're able to buy a Ferrari for like 10K, you're going to come up with the money. No matter like, you're just going to come up with it. You're going to ask your family, I don't know, you're going to work your fucking ass off, right? In order to get that money. Because you're able to sell it for like 300, 400, 500K, right? So that means you see the value, right? And that's what it's all about. Communicating your value to the market. Because that is the reason why people buy, right? So follow this process and make sure that you dial this process system in, because like the only people that are responsible for this process are your setters. The reason why I love setters so much and like closers, it's not really my job, is because setters are, if you're a master of skill setting, you're able to get people's attention. Your job as a setter is actually to make sure that you can get someone's attention and convert that attention into a booked call. Make sense? So that is actually the video. I have nothing more to say. I hope this was valuable, but make sure you follow this process, guys, right? It's like a sort of similar video that I made yesterday, but this is the actual practice, right? So what I say, you have organic growth and practical growth. So do both, okay? So appreciate you watching. Follow me on Instagram and probably see you tomorrow.